It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago. And it's 7 p.m. in New York City. Hello, everybody. I'm Mad Dog Scipio, and this is America's Best Popcast. What's the buzz? And I'm joined each and every week by Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. Hello, Amelia. How are you?
I did great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I switched it up tonight. I was nice to you for a
I
change.
know, right? See, Anita, he was nice.
You're not used to that.
I could tell Anita that you were nice.
Amelia comes in here every night and she looks at me with this pitiful look. There's, oh, here we go. She's back again. Here we go. So I have to bust her chops. But tonight I was like, no, I'm going to be nice tonight. Okay. There you go.
Well, we'll see
I'm
right now.
feeling generous. What you been up to?
Just a day at work, and they gave me more responsibility, and I'm like, oh, do you really have to? I'm used to just doing this thing. Don't give me more to
No,
do.
they're
Thank
giving
you.
you more pay with more responsibility.
No, it's about the same, but it's like more to my customer service role. So they're kind of like
Oh,
teaching me
okay. Well,
more
but
of
you're
what to
you're
do.
better at customer service though.
Yeah.
That's your thing. See that
Yeah.
Amelia is really good that way. But I mean, the rest of her job, she sucks. But the customer
Well,
service is
they think
great.
I'm in collections when I call them and they're like, "I'm hanging up now, click." And
That's
I'm like,
why they don't like you.
"Oh my
Give
god,
them-
they did
they
hang up
want,
on me."
yeah, they don't want to give you money. Of course not. You kidding? They want to get their services, but they don't want to pay for it. By God.
Nope, they don't.
Oh
It's all
man, this
about the
is
approach.
What's the Buzz Podcast. Check us out on YouTube. We are at youtube.com/ at What's the Buzz Podcast. And we are on, ladies and gentlemen, we are on over 3,000 worldwide platforms. We're heard in 32 countries in 19 languages on WWTF and WTBR 88.7. That's the broadband radio system around the world. And if you think I'm kidding when I say worldwide, I
Please
kid you
not.
not. I'm not even kidding. We've had people here from Japan, Australia, New Zealand, uh, Russia. We had somebody here from Russia one night.
Yes,
We had people from Sri Lanka, from Madagascar. I can't make this.
he's kidding.
Amelia, will you tell these people? I swear I'm not making any of this shit up.
He's not making any of this up. I swear, he is not.
Not making this. I
Mm-mm.
no, because it's our friend Nettie Potty from Japan.
Yes.
That's her name, Nettie Potty.
Yeah, we haven't seen her in a while, or she hasn't
I know. I
in a
wonder if
while. So I
she's
hope she's doing
okay.
well. Yeah, and also we have Facebook page, What's the Buzz Popcast. We also have a group as well, What's the Buzz Popcast group. So join us
Absolutely.
as
Yeah.
well.
Absolutely. So listen, let's talk about last night real quick. Oh man.
Oh, that one was a doozy.
I ruffled some feathers last night, and am I sorry for it? Am I apologizing for
Oh,
it? That you bet your sweet ass I'm not. Never, never. If it came out of my mouth, I meant to say it. Okay, so
me
there you
too.
go. That said, tonight we're going to switch gears. We were going to do cyberbullying tonight, but in light of the fact that one of America's, the world's most beloved actors died mysteriously under pretty interesting, bizarre circumstances, really. We're going to talk about Gene Hackman. Was it a foul play? Was it a tragic accident? The life and death of actor Gene Hackman. Amelia, what do you know
Mhm.
about Gene Hackman?
I know he was a great actor. He was in a lot of great movies. He did turn down some roles, which I'm glad he did because I wouldn't see him in a lot of these roles that he would have been offered.
Can you
But
imagine Gene Hackman as the father in the Brady Bunch?
no, I would not.
He turned that one down.
Yes,
I'm
and
sure he's
also
glad he did.
Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs. Can you imagine him in that role?
Nope, it would have been a different movie.
It would have been a totally different movie.
Totally different.
Yeah.
When I think of Hannibal Lecter,
Mhm.
Anthony Hopkins, it has to be.
It has to be him. Yeah,
So
100%.
what we're talking about tonight is reactions and respects for actor Gene Hackman. Let's just tell people what we know. Okay, here's what we know. Um, on or about somewhere around mid-February, Gene Hackman, who is a heart patient, his pacemaker defibrillator went off.
Yes.
So they were alerted that something happened. Okay. What struck me as funny about that, while they have the timeline, nobody went out to check on him.
No.
How do you know that he had a cardiac event? The pacemaker says so. The records say so. But nobody went out to check on the guy? Are you serious?
That finds
There's a
actually a
lot of
little.
stuff that ain't adding up to me.
No.
Let me just put this into perspective. Okay. As the investigation into the mysterious death of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, enters its second phase, this is more like not even the first phase, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to call this the second phase. We're not haven't even gotten through the first phase yet.
No.
Following last week's revelations from the autopsy performed after the couple's bodies were found in their Santa Fe home. By the way, our friend Mark Stotkin lives in Santa Fe as well. So, and I'm sure he's one of the neighbors. More details are emerging around the health and shifting habits in the final months of the lives of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betty. Now, Gene Hackman, of course, is an amazing actor. He's a multiple-time Academy Award winner, People's Choice Awards, Golden Globe Award winner, all kinds of awards. But we're not going to talk about his movies or awards tonight. We're going to spend the next probably 45 minutes or so to an hour trying to find out why nobody was sent to the house to check on this guy. And they know that here's the thing. You have this life alert thing on you, okay?
Right.
Your heart stops. You're having a heart attack. It sends a signal to the monitoring company, okay? Nobody comes to check on you. I have a problem with that's a point of contention. A big point of contention is where was the ambulance? Where were the police? Where was the wellness check?
Exactly.
Nobody saw them for 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
Their bodies were mummifying, okay? Do you understand how long they were dead?
Yeah, that's a
Their
little bit too
bodies were
long.
mummifying. They didn't find them until the housekeeper
Yeah.
shows up. My question is, why was the housekeeper all of a sudden coming in now? Where was she before?
Yeah.
Didn't she work every week?
Unless she had been on vacation or something
No,
happened.
there was no vacation. She was working. Where was she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Strange.
and that's why I say, was it foul play or tragic?
Mm-hmm.
What was it, Nita? Oh, maintenance. It wasn't a housekeeper. It was a maintenance guy.
Yeah. Maintenance guy.
Okay. Yeah. See, my wife's been following this. She's like kind of like a detective on this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because I have the article in front of me, and it says here housekeeper. I'm reading directly from it.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, but just to show you how like even the news can't get their story straight.
No. So see, it's
That's
fake
why I
news,
have
just like
to,
Trump said.
Rely on my wife to get the information.
Well, see, the thing is that I have a cousin that has a pacemaker, and he has that life alert thing. So if something happens, they press a button, they call him right away, see if everything's okay. Does he need an
I know.
ambulance?
My father
Things like
had
that.
one too.
Yeah, and he's on medication for it as well because he's got to take pills every single day because of that pacemaker. and if something goes
Oh,
wrong,
I know, Amelia.
he has to go to
Listen,
the
listen. We're
doctor.
not. That's
You know,
not in question.
yeah.
That's not in question. What's in question is
Hmm.
if the guy's got a cardiac condition
Hmm.
and he goes down. Well, it clearly registered,
Exactly.
right? We know that because
Hmm.
I have it here in front of me.
Hmm.
Oh, so it registered, but nobody shows up to check on him.
Yeah, and I
There's
know
no
that
wellness check.
they should have had a
It
phone
was a
call or
maintenance
something.
guy happened to find him.
Hmm.
So go ahead, talk.
No, I mean, there
Talk.
should have been at least a phone call or something, and somebody would have at least answered the phone saying, yes, he's okay, or yes, he's not okay. Please call an ambulance. We need somebody right away. So I
Right?
know that they have their cell phones, so see, to check their phones to see if there's been any calls or text messages to to check and see if anybody had
Well,
been any calls.
that ties into my next point, which is I still shaking my head about this.
I know it's.
So it's they talked to his daughters. He had two daughters. One's 58, the other's 60. All right.
Mhm.
And he's got a son that's like nowhere to be found right now. He's not saying anything. He's keeping a real low key, the son.
Hmm.
But the daughters said, one of the daughters is reported saying that she was very close with her father. Well, apparently you weren't that close with him because you hadn't seen him for 2 months.
Right?
So how close were you? All right, now Leon, he's got a pacemaker. All right. Now, Leon, when your pacemaker goes off, Leon, do they respond right away? Now be honest. I want to know. Because my understanding is that when these things go off, like they alert, they alert.
Yeah.
So, okay, Mel.
Yeah, I mean, they do alert right away because and then you get this beep, beep, beep kind of thing, and then you have to either find out what's going on, emergency room right away, or what's going on. It's a battery low. What's going on? And if not, you're going to be having a heart attack. And my cousin would have to say, "Okay, I need to go to the emergency room. I'm not feeling well. I'm having a heart attack." And he was only 30 years old when he had to have one put in. He was
Yeah,
very young,
yeah.
and either that or the medication they had to change it on.
See, and now there's the thing.
Yeah.
Leon said the same thing. Yes, so yeah. If
Hmm.
he has, an event,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, they get a hold of him. Of
Mhm.
course.
Yes.
So, but all of a sudden though, in Gene Hackman's case, nobody shows up. Okay, why? See, and I hate to be the Debbie Downer here, but I'm one of those people that thinks that there's something amiss. Okay,
Right.
I don't know if it was somebody looking for a payday. I don't know if somebody was trying to find, a way into his life or whatever the case may be. My problem with this is it's not adding up. The timeline ain't adding up.
Right.
Okay. What's the other thing that's not adding up is the contradictory reports from his friends.
Right.
Some people say he was in great health and riding his bike, and then other people are saying no, he stopped riding his bike a year ago.
Hmm.
Well,
Interesting.
what is it? We're talking about a guy that let's be honest, he's 95 years old. God rest
Yeah.
his soul. But the fact that he lived to be 95
Yes.
is a hell of an accomplishment. I hate that he died like this, you know, because he was one of those guys that was never controversial.
None.
But he dies, and then all of a sudden, everything's controversial now. Let me tell everybody Gene Hackman is a 2-time Academy Award winner whose Hollywood career spanned 4 decades. That's a long time.
Very.
Classical pianist Arakawa did not die from carbon monoxide poisoning. That's his wife, Betty Arakawa. She did not pass, as was reported. She did not pass from carbon monoxide poisoning. The Santa Fe sheriffs concluded on Friday that they wanted to end the speculation that people were putting the rumor mill out there that she had passed from carbon monoxide. And that was and if you went on social media, that was the rumor
Right.
that they died from carbon monoxide. The sheriff's department said, look, that's not what happened here. Let's put the kibosh on this. We got to start from the beginning. There's so much we don't know here. So that's what Pitbull and I are going to do. We're going to walk through this from the beginning because we're kind of like Starsky and Hutch.
Right.
Okay. We're like the mod squad over here checking this shit out.
Right.
Okay. So now here's the thing. And they were found in separate rooms of the house. Now, here's the thing. Apparently, Gene Hackman was either just coming into the house or just getting ready to go out of the house because he was found in an area they called the mud room. Now, if any of you have a house with a mud room, you know basically what it is. If it's raining or wet or whatever the case outside, you step into this room, wipe your shoes off, take your shoes off if you need to, hang up your raincoat, your umbrella, all this stuff, okay? And you come in the house so you don't drag dirt all the way through.
Exactly.
Right? I had a house like that. I had a mud room, okay? And they're great. Keeps the rest of the house clean. Keep that one room dirty. You don't have to mess with it. But the problem is nobody knows whether he was coming or going, coming in or going out. But he had a pair of sweatpants on, a long sleeve t-shirt, a pair of bedroom slippers. So he wasn't going far. Okay. Whatever happened to him in that mud room happened suddenly.
Yes.
Very quickly. And I don't know if his wife was responding to him at the time, but maybe, and my wife said something interesting. She said maybe she had a heart attack in all the excitement of this. And it's possible she could have. You know, you don't know how people are going to react.
No, you don't. You don't know how people are going to react. And also, to me, I would have gone through their trash, gone through the refrigerator, because you never know, it could have been food poisoning as well. That's another point that I would make as well.
Yeah, and I get that. Kenneth Jarrett singers it. I want to know who owns the rights to the name and cat. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Really interesting question, because this is where my head goes.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy that's right now deceased, who has between $80 and $100 million in assets.
Yes.
Among them are publishing, film rights, book rights, the likeness, and his name and likeness,
everything.
His merch catalog, like Kenneth Jarrett Singleton is saying, merchandising, the Gene Hackman name, the Gene Hackman licensing, his image, pictures. People pay money for that.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to pay royalties on that.
Oh, yes.
You ever see you look at somebody's picture? It's got a little logo on the bottom, trademark, whatever. Somebody owns that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And if it's not the person whose picture it is, then it's a photography company or someplace like Alamy or a company like that, or Google or
Oh,
Yahoo or
yes.
any of those places
Mhm.
because they spend big money for that.
Yep.
Let me see what Leon says here. A couple months ago, Rosie was not answering the door. I asked the doctor to check wellness check. They acted like I didn't know. They didn't know what I want. Oh yeah, I get it, Leon. I hear you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, and this gets back to the question of what the hell were they doing there so long? Nobody checked on them. They got neighbors. Nobody knocked on the door. They said the door was ajar.
Yeah.
The
That's
door was
weird.
open. The dogs were coming in and out, but there was one dog apparently. How this dog ended up in the bathroom closet, nobody knows.
Yeah, and
Okay,
closed up in a crate, and I don't
and the
understand that
crate
either.
and the I don't see. I'm sorry, folks, but I just do not see Gene Hackman and his wife as animal abusers.
No. Mm-mm.
Either either the dog was put in the closet purposely to keep someone away, or maybe the dog was aggressive around people. I don't know. But it's strange, though, that you put one dog in a closet and the other two are free to roam.
Right.
And the dog in the closet died from malnourishment.
Hmm.
And it kills me to see a dog die that way.
Yeah, that's too
You
strange because
know?
he had to have been aggressive, probably around other people, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. And because we had one like that that was aggressive with other people, so we had
Yeah.
to like when we had visitors come over, we had to put her up for a little
Well,
bit
let's.
because
I get that, Amelia, and I try to stay on topic here.
yeah, and
We got
so
to talk
that's
about Gene Hackman. We're not
mhm.
talking about the Chapman family
No,
pet.
but that's what I meant. Maybe that's what happened. That's
Well, no, I
why
get what you're
they, you know.
saying.
hmm And also
Um,
too, maybe since the wife has
See
passed.
now, Ruffian. Here's the
hmm
thing, Million. Ruffian said the same thing I said to my wife.
hmm
Maybe it probably ran in there, and one of the other dogs closed it by
That's what I was
accident.
saying. They closed the gate by accident.
I
Mhm.
said, my hand to heaven.
Mhm.
I said that to my wife. I said,
Mhm.
"What if one of the other dogs got shut the door?"
Yeah, by accident. Yeah.
And it doesn't take much.
Mm-mm.
The dog's tail hits the door. The dog runs into the door.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Yeah. It
Bumps it with
happens.
his nose. Right?
Yes. Yeah, they do that.
Doesn't take much at all.
They
Go
do
ahead,
that. And
Millie. Continue.
no, I'm saying they do that. And two, the wife has passed, but usually something like a case like this happens, they look at the wife too. Because, what if she had been having an affair too?
Well, they
And
can't do that in this case because she's
yeah,
going too.
exactly. But what gets me is where's the surveillance tape? There was no surveillance cameras in or out of
Well,
the
no,
house,
no, 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 no. Hold on, hold on.
right?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. The Gene Hackman home
Mm-hmm.
evidently did not have surveillance cameras, which I find strikingly unusual.
Exactly.
Okay. The other thing is every house in the neighborhood does have surveillance cameras. Maybe that's why he didn't. He figured
Hmm.
everybody else around here's got cameras. What do I need them for?
Hmm.
Right?
Right.
So, I mean, so the other thing, he lived there for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
It's
He
not
felt
like he
safe.
was new to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You've been there for 30, 40 years. Nobody bothered you. It's a gated community.
Right.
You got to be buzzed in and out. People don't understand that part, too. You can't just like, oh, I'm going to go see Gene Hackman's house today. No, you're not. No, unless you get buzzed in and
Right.
buzzed
That's
out.
yeah.
And if you don't belong there, you ain't getting buzzed in
hmm
unless you're the police.
Hmm.
You know. There's all kinds of issues. I want to ask our audience, what do you guys think happened? Amelia and I are sitting here playing armchair detective. What do you
Yeah,
think happened? Let's see. Ruffian. They said the pacemaker keeps a record. They know when it's. Yep, they do know
yeah.
when it stopped working.
Hmm.
They sure the hell do. But here was my question earlier, Ruff. Simple question. You know when it stopped. You know when it went off. Why the hell didn't anybody come by and check on him? A
Yeah,
wellness check. The police never showed up. An ambulance never showed up. No one showed up. No one. Not a person showed up. And his daughters, who were so close to him, where the fuck were they?
yeah. It would
When
have
was the
been,
last time you saw your father alive? Oh, about 2.5 months ago. Well, apparently you weren't that close to him, were you?
yeah. It could have been something like a false beep or a false, something like that. It's like, no, it's not a false thing. Could you go do a wellness check for me, please? Because it never has gone off before, or it's gone off once before, and y'all did a wellness check before. Can y'all do one again? I would have been something like that if it was my
That's
father.
a good point.
You
Let's
know.
talk about that. That's a good point.
Hmm.
False alarms.
Yeah.
Now, it is possible, because I've seen this happen myself with my dad.
Hmm.
You can have a false reading.
Hmm.
Okay. But even so, here is the catch. Here is the catch. And thank you for bringing that up because you're 1,000% right.
Right.
You can have a false reading, but guess what?
Right.
The police and ambulance still show up.
They sure do. Yes, they do.
Okay?
Hmm.
They still show up. Why? Because they have to.
They have to. It's their job.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know what's going on
Hmm.
with anybody
Correct.
until you get there.
Exactly.
And you get there and go, okay, I'm sorry, guys. It was a false alarm. It was, I was messing around with it. I set
Hmm.
it off. And you can.
Yeah, you
It's
can.
I'm sorry, Papa, but you did.
Yeah.
My father,
Hmm. Yeah,
I
even
tell
if
you what,
somebody
though,
touches it.
those monitoring companies, they got their shit together. They know what they're doing.
Hmm.
This,
Oh
this
yeah.
is not something, this is not something that they fuck around with. Pardon my language, folks. I'm trying to curb my language. Not.
It's okay. He'll
Um.
put $1 in the cookie jar.
Yeah. Right. It's going to be a full cookie jar. Let me tell you what. Um. But here's the thing, though. No, it's true.
It is.
It's true. The problem is that even if you are messing around with it and you set it off,
Hmm.
they're required to come and check,
Yes.
and nobody checked. That's the problem. Um. What if this is a distraction? Interesting.
Hmm.
Ruffian. I said that to my wife. By God. Talk to me. Give me where's your head at, Ruff? I wanna know where your head's in. See, you gotta understand, Ruffian thinks like I do, because we're kindred spirits, we're both Goombas,
Hmm.
right? At least I think he's Italian anyway.
Maybe he's a
Um,
half
I
Italian or
think
some
a
part
little
of him
bit.
is.
But so talk to me. Where's your head on this? That's a really interesting um kind of point of view. Yeah, it's a real interesting point of view. What if this is a distraction? What
And
if
they,
this is the distraction? We're talking about the amazing life and tragic death of beloved actor Gene Hackman, multi Academy Award winning actor, winner of the People's Choice Award, the Golden Globe, the Screen Actors Guild Award, and you name it, this guy's won it. He's won every major acting award that we have.
oh yeah.
Period. Period. Um. So
Listen,
what happens? What
yeah,
happens here?
It's kind of weird that he said that because we just had the thing with the Ukraine president come in. We just had the Oscars, and of course, his death all happened pretty much all together. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it could be a distraction of some sort, but what kind of distraction is it? Yeah, you're right. I'm kind of curious about that myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting, Amelia.
Hmm.
Interesting. Gene
Yeah.
Hackman was a beloved character, but it's one of the things that we have to talk about is it's sometimes it's not how you live, but how you die
Yeah.
that defines your life. I would hate, and I say this, said it before, I would hate for this to be his defining moment with all the great work that he did,
Hmm.
amazing work and being a good guy on top of it,
Oh
you
yes.
know? Um, he
Yeah. He.
worked with all kinds of people in different
Hmm.
kinds of movies, but you know, and he was generally regarded as like a really great guy,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He.
you
They said
know?
that if anybody needed any money or any help, he was just right there to help you, no
He
matter
was
what, no
always there.
questions asked.
With what's happening with the news and the war, there's something to take the eyes off the focus.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what? Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I see where you're going with that, Ruff. I I hate to do this, but you know what? I may have to give Ruffian a little bit of credit on this one
Hmm.
because I'm kind of like I've got that skeptical mind too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
You know.
don't lift that rock up because you'll never know what's underneath. But we're gonna lift that rock up to find
Well,
out
we're
what's
gonna not
underneath.
only we're gonna lift it, we're gonna lift it. We're gonna
Hmm.
move it far away. We're gonna dig a big fucking hole and see what's in
Yep.
there too.
Absolutely. Don't open
Absolutely,
that
we
door,
are.
but we're gonna open it to find out
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going
Give
on.
me your thoughts on all of this. Walk me through. She works me every night, folks. Um, walk me through your sense um of what's of well, how do I want to say this? Walk me through your how do I want to say this? Your sense of what happened? No. Well,
What
just
I
give
would
me.
do.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you just give me? Tell me what you think happened.
Well, as far as you said, we don't know if he was coming in or going out. As far as you know, he
Tell people what happened over the weekend.
friends and family of Hackman and Arcanoa spoke with the members of press and a handful of publications about his declining health at the age of 95 and some changes in their communication with family. Daniel and Barbara Lethan, a married couple who were friends with Hackman and Arcanoa for years, and their son Aaron spoke with people about their impressions of couple ahead of their unexpected deaths, explaining that over the last couple months, Hackman was really slipping.
Okay, now and that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting thing, and I alluded to this earlier.
Hmm.
One of the things that I talked about earlier, and thank you, Amelia, for filling this in on that. One of the things that I alluded to earlier is that there was contradictory reports.
Hmm.
Now, you know, the Lenahan family apparently knew him for 30 years.
Hmm.
They were neighbors of his for 30 plus years, okay? But yet other people say, oh, well, he was in great spirits and good health and he was riding his bike all the time and, he was always out, saying hi to people and blah, blah,
Right?
blah, and
Yeah.
all this stuff, right? Okay, well, and I get that. That's all good. Um, but then you have, like, there's a reality check here. Okay,
Right.
so what's somewhere in between that and what we read is the truth. We got to find out what we've heard and what we've read and figure out what in between there is the truth because we don't know.
Right.
Why don't we know? Because even the news folks Even the news ain't
They
getting it right.
No, because he did stop riding his bike for a while because he didn't want to go anywhere. He just wanted to stay home inside. He didn't want to talk to anyone. He just wanted to be inside. He didn't want to do anything. That's
Uh,
what I heard.
that's what, and we're going to talk about that too.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about that too. Oh, so let me give everybody a little heads up here. All right. So while Hackman's health appeared to be declining, and this is true, look, at 95 years old, you're
Mhm.
not going to be the
No,
picture of health, okay?
no, of
The
course not.
fact that he could stand on his own 2 feet,
That's
the fact
amazing.
that he rode a bicycle for all those years, up till he was like 93, 94,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, okay, yes, of course you're going to be in declining health.
Yes.
According to the Lenahan family,
Right,
Betty
right.
Arakawa seemed to be the picture of health. Okay, and she was a woman that watched what she ate.
Yes.
She ate a lot of healthy things, fruits, fiber, supplements, vitamins. She took care of him. She got him off, off of eating junk because apparently he was like junk food.
Yeah.
You know, he liked his, pretzels and chips and cakes and shit like that we all love, right?
Right.
They said Betty was in perfect health. She was the picture of fitness, right?
Yes.
Betty Lenahan told, I'm sorry, Barbara Lenahan told People magazine that she was so fit. All of the Lenahans claimed that their famous friend's health was declining, however, over the last several months. Not what people are saying. They're the only, if that's the case, and I have no reason not to believe them. If that's the case, and I believe that because you're talking about a guy in his 90s,
Right.
okay? If his health is declining and his wife is taking care of him, and look, she's 30 years younger, she's my age,
Right.
okay? And we're talking about a woman 65 years old, married to a guy 95 years old. Somebody's taking care of somebody there, so she was doing a pretty good job of keeping him fit.
Right.
Okay. Here's where things get dicey. Okay. Um, the contrast between what they say and what the daughters say. I'll give you an example. Hackman's daughters told the press after his body was discovered last week. Leslie Ann Hackman told the Daily Mail that there was no indication that her father was in any distress or bad health. Well, how would you know? Because you told the press also that you're very close to your father, and they asked you when was the last time you saw him. Oh, about 2.5 months ago. Well, okay, can you get your story straight? Okay. So, can you get your story straight here? You get where we're going with this?
Yeah. That's unusual. 2 months and then you tell something else? No.
Amelia, please elaborate. Let everybody know I'm not making this shit up.
I mean, think about it. It's like if you tell somebody you haven't talked to them in like 2 months, but then like, oh no, I just talked to him recently. Recently is just like a day or so, not 2 months ago, right? Think about that.
Well,
Recently would be a day or so or 3 days ago. Like recently, like if you and I hadn't talked, recently would be 3 or 4 days compared to 2 months.
all right. Now, here's the thing.
That's unusual to me. I'm sorry.
Um, Leslie Ann Hackman, one of the actor's three children from prior marriage, um, she and her siblings are convinced that there was a gas leak. They're still convinced and they're sticking to that story. They think that there was a gas leak that caused the death of her father. We know that was ruled out, but they're still sticking with that gas leak story. And why they are so adamant, that should be a red flag right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the interesting thing. While speaking with the London Daily Mail last week, Leslie Ann Hackman admitted that she had not spoken with her father in 2 months before in the 2.5 months before he passed. Here's the thing. This is strikingly similar to the situation with Betsy Arakawa, Hackman's wife, and her mother, Yoshi Feaster. According to a housekeeper who tends to Arakawa's 91-year-old mother, who has dementia. Regular calls placed to her in Hawaii stopped in October. A similar time frame to the couple of months in which Leslie and Hackman had not spoken with each other. Okay, you get where we're going here. Conspiracy time, folks. That's why this show is called Chasing Conspiracies. Because Pitbull and I saw something here that maybe you guys didn't. What did we see? We smelled a conspiracy brewing.
Yes.
The same time frame, going back to October, November, not
Yeah.
just February,
No.
not just January. We're going back to 2024, October, November. Okay? Betsy hadn't called her mother. Kiko told the Daily Mail. She usually called her once or twice a month. I'm sorry. She usually called her every 1 or 2 months. Last time she called was in October. We were thinking what happened. Sheriff Mendoza of the Santa Fe, New Mexico Police Department said on Friday, repeated to investigators, we're still putting this together. We have a timeline framed out, and we will have a more detailed picture for you to look at. Personal calendar found in the house was listed as one of the items removed from the property when a search warrant was executed last week. Why they would take a calendar is interesting.
Yeah.
The full toxicology reports on Hackman and his wife are expected in a few months. A few meaning 2 or 3. I'm saying no way. I'm saying 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're not going to know something for at least 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, at least 6 months because they're going to run every test that they can to make sure they get everything.
And and Anita and I talked about that. I said, you're talking about a few months. I'm talking, maybe as late as maybe 7 or 8 months, but I'm going at least 6.
Yeah, I'm going to think probably September is when we'll finally know
Yeah.
something at least. I'm going to say September.
Well, I mean, you got to remember something. The sheriff's office, they deal with this kind of stuff all the time. Okay.
Right.
So they have kind of like a framework of how long things take to get done. But once in a while, something like this happens and a big old monkey wrench gets thrown into the mix.
Right.
Well, this is a big, messy monkey wrench. Okay. So, Amelia, put your detective hat on.
Yeah,
You're working the case here. Hold on. Before you answer, let me ask the question. She's getting ready to answer a question I haven't answered yet. Here's the question, psychic Amelia.
That's you, not me.
Here's the question. You're working the case. Okay. What are you looking for besides the obvious? Blunt force trauma, gunshot wounds, knife, blood. What are you looking for? What's going to stand out to you?
Needle marks. I'm going to look for needle marks anywhere I can that would not be visible to the eye. Maybe in between toes, maybe underneath the knees, between fingers, maybe behind the ears.
Interesting. Needle punctures. It's happened before.
Yes, it has.
You know who it happened to?
Oh.
Marilyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
We know. Remember, you don't remember we did that show.
Yeah, I remember
They
that, but
found
also too. Go ahead.
puncture marks on Marilyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
Several of them.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Mel.
And then also
Don't
too,
let me stop you now.
when you said that the calendar was removed, I'm going to be looking for clues around their desks, of course, to see if I can find anything to relate to the calendar. And of course, when they get the phones, I'm going to be looking through pictures, videos to see if I can find anything related to the calendar behind them, if maybe
Exactly.
they took pictures.
If I'm, and I'm with you, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm a detective on the case, forget about the obvious. I'm going to look for exactly what you said. I'm going to look for
Mm-hmm.
what you can't see.
Exactly.
I'm going to look for cell phone pictures.
Mm-hmm.
What it's going to I'm going to play Where's Waldo.
Exactly.
Okay? I'm going to play which of these things are not like the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm going to play these are circles and that's a square. What
Yes.
doesn't belong here?
Yeah.
Okay?
And if the
That's
dogs
what
have
I'm
a
going to play. I'm going to play what doesn't belong here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. If the dogs have a veterinary appointment and what kind of
Ah,
medication that the dogs have to have that's not traceable, maybe that's where the needle
that's
marks
the
come
thing.
in.
The dogs. Okay,
Mhm.
well, they tell me when I say they, I mean Fox News. they, I'm reading the Fox News, and they're telling us that the dogs, particularly the dogs that were alive,
Mhm.
not the one that died, the dogs that are alive may carry the answer. They may
Mhm.
carry the clue.
Yes.
The other thing is famed forensic pathologist,
Yes.
Dr. Michael Baden, was consulted on this case, and he was asked, "What do you think?" And he basically kind of said the same thing we said. You know, definitely a cardiac event. It's possible that in the haste of it, she had an event herself. She fell. She got hurt. She hit her head. She may have had a heart attack. There were pills all over the floor. The interesting thing is the dogs didn't eat the pills.
Right.
Dogs will eat anything on the
Yes.
ground.
Yes, they will.
I know, because Rocky used to try to eat my medicine all the time.
Yep. Mine do too. Yes.
Okay, and I have a problem with that. My problem is where? Why are these dogs still running? Why are the all the dogs not dead?
Mhm.
You got all this medicine on the floor and the dogs aren't eating the meds?
Right.
What's wrong here?
Yeah. And
Something happened here, ladies and gentlemen. Amelia,
mhm.
you and I talked about this before we went on the air. Something happened here that's not adding up.
Exactly.
Okay. Who's in our chat room? Let's take a look. Ruffian. Um, let's see. Oh, there was something written on a Ricky about the culprit removed. Oh,
Hmm.
but it was removed on Gene Hackman's wiki.
Hmm. Wow.
Really? Ruffian says maybe the dogs are witnessing the one that died, probably trying to. Oh, and I said that earlier.
Mhm.
I said maybe the dog was put in the closet as
Mhm.
protection
Yeah.
from someone, because
Yes.
apparently the dogs there were no. It's funny because one of the dogs that was still running around was a German Shepherd.
Mhm.
The one that died in the cage there in the closet, and it breaks my heart to think about that. Because I got a soft spot for dogs.
Me too.
Um, that that situation just, man, it's just there's something that just doesn't set right with my gut.
Yeah.
It's just not setting right. I think you're going to find out when it's all said and done. It's just too much that there's too much they got to work through. It's just
Too
there's
much.
something ain't right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amelia, tell everybody what's coming up next week.
Of course.
What we got going on?
Let's see. We have. Let me go ahead and turn to the page here because somebody made some changes.
What happened?
Said somebody made some changes. No, just kidding.
Me?
We have
Somebody?
we are
Why
gonna
always
have
blaming me? She always
Connor
throws
Bracken
me
and
under the bus. Hold on a minute. I'm telling everybody the truth. How you throw me under the bus all the time.
Connor Bracken and the Mother Leads Band on the 10th of March on Monday. He's
Go ahead.
coming back. We're gonna
He's
have
coming
him.
back with drink in hand, boy.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a song or two out of him. And the 11th, we're gonna have open forum. We're gonna talk about anything and everything we want. Who cares what we say, right?
Anything we fucking please,
Yes.
absolutely. Well, it's been a very good show. It's been a great night. I am going to do as I did last night. You guys are offended. I don't give a shit because this is I'm going to do this every night. Every show we have, I'm going to say a prayer as we go. So, Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for a great show tonight, Lord. I ask you to continue to curb my mouth. I'm trying not to F bomb the way I used to. I'm working on it. Keep Amelia and her family close and well knit, and keep them fed, Lord. Keep money in that house. Lord, give Joseph a job to do because it's driving his mother crazy. Yeah. And Lord, we ask you to continue to bless our audience and keep them safe and keep us safe on our travels, Lord God. In Jesus' name, amen. Until we meet you again, ladies and gentlemen.